Okay, we are live.
Cool. Well, that was horrible.
Yes,
Our
it
second
was.
show, we just kicked everybody off because we were having technical difficulties.
And now we're sitting here all by ourselves.
Well, anyways, this is episode FPS002, Lowe's versus the Fastener Distributor. Welcome to Fastener Pulse, the live weekly show where we provide an open forum for fastener industry professionals to discuss events and trends currently affecting our industry. My name is Robert Lopez.
And I'm Aaron Shushan. Give me one sec. Sorry. This week we're going to be discussing Lowe's. I saw an article on the website. It looks like they're trying to get into the B2B marketplace. We're also going to discuss some of the future segments that we're going to try to bring up on this show and what Fastener Pulse is about. So,
okay, we're going to try to have the show on a regular basis. However, sometimes our day jobs get in the way. So if we have to reschedule or we have technical difficulties, by all means, bookmark our Blab page and we'll update the schedules there.
So hopefully everybody heard me before I kicked you all out. But this program is called Blab, and it is still in the beta testing phase. So there are a lot of bugs. They do update all the time. I've been playing around with it for a few weeks, and just randomly they'll post an update and the website won't work, or you get kicked off, or like just what happened, the host can't get back into the show. So I just wanted to apologize for any of that kind of nonsense beforehand, and hopefully this will be out of beta testing soon, so it'll be a little bit more smooth.
So cool. Aaron, can you walk us through on how to use Blab and have our guys interact?
Sure. So how it works is basically it's an open mic format. It's kind of like Skype, but you can only have 4 people in at one time. If you guys like what we're talking about, or you feel that we made a good point, if you want to click our picture, there's little hands at the bottom there. If you click it, you can basically applaud. So I don't really think this feature has any benefits yet, just so the host knows that you're applauding. Down in the bottom right, you can comment. You can ask a question by typing \Q space and then type any question you like. And once you hit enter, it'll show up at the left-hand side of your screen, and we can discuss it, we can answer it. And I believe if I answer it, it'll pop up in the box. So those are a few of the different features, and I'm sure they're going to be adding plenty more as they're still testing this program. Did I forget anything?
No, I think you got it. John Butler joined us. Thanks, John, for checking us out. We really appreciate having our buddies in the chat room. By all means, ask anything you want, and if you want to get join the hot seat, I guess you could call it. Let us know or request. I guess that's the one thing we forgot to do is how to request on the hot seat. Aaron, do you know how to do that yet?
How to get into it?
Yeah.
Anybody can just click it. The seat is open right now. So on your screen, you should see something that says call in, and it's blinking in the empty window. If you go ahead and you click that, it'll give us a message, and we can either let you in or not let you in. So that's how that works.
Yeah, and since this is going to be an open forum, we want to have the seats sort of fluid, where we'll ask if somebody wants to join in on the hot seat, we'll request it in. They say their piece, and then we move on to the next person that wants to come in. Typically, what we'll do is we'll have an open mic at the end of the show for anybody that wants to talk about it. If you have a real concern, by all means, or have any input to add to the conversation, let us bring you on. So feel free to request.
Look, we got somebody Rose's back in. Thanks for not giving up and coming back. We had
Thanks, Rosa.
We had some bad technical problems, but I mentioned this before you guys all got in the room that this program is still in beta testing. So there's a lot of glitches. There's a lot of updates. So forgive us in advance if, we have a few technical problems.
Yeah, and you haven't stated the obvious, Aaron. We don't know what we're doing yet. So be patient with us as well.
Excuse me, you're the host of the show?
Okay. Well, Aaron just explained how to use Blab, and I'll just reiterate: the little hands are applauds. The comments are on the right hand side. You can put your comments in there. You can also ask backslash. What was that again?
Backslash Q for question.
For question, and then type a question, and we'll answer it. So let's move forward. Aaron, okay, you already did that. So we're going to tell you what we're trying to accomplish here. And this is a work in progress, and this is a community show. So it really depends on what you guys want. We're not just doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for the community. So we're going to ask you your input, and I hope that you guys feel free to share. We have some really good input from the traveling salesman, and it really changed the path that we were considering going down. So I'm going to tell you what Aaron and I are going to tell you what we have plans for so far. We're going to be bringing you the stories, the Fastener stories, but the ones that you probably haven't heard about. Most importantly, the ones that we have an opinion on, and we think that you might have an opinion on. We're going to leave the regular Fastener news and event notifications to other better equipped shows like Fully Threaded Radio, our buddies over there. They do a really good job. So what we're going to try to do is really have an open forum between our listeners and us, and maybe some special guests in the future.
Yeah, I'm going to back up a little bit. Originally, when this was your idea to have a podcast, Robert, I'm stealing your line here, but originally when you decided to do this, it was for the Fastener Pro Alliance website. And after talking with, people from our last show that watched it, we decided to do more of a show like when we work together on sales calls and we have those great conversations together in the car. We always talk about such interesting things. So that's kind of how we're trying to base this show. Yeah,
I mean, Aaron and I have been working together for 4 years now, Aaron?
Yeah, my anniversary was this month, 4 years.
Awesome. Congratulations. We've traveled a lot together, and Aaron, being the interesting, inquisitive guy that he is, always had some good questions for me. Some of them I could answer. Some of them I had to go back home and look up. We want the conversations to be similar to that. The other thing that we want to try to include is, we visit customers on a regular basis. And one of the things that's happening in our industry right now is there's a lot of new people coming into our industry, bright, intelligent, hardworking people that don't particularly have a lot of fastener experience. There's also a dwindling group of fastener professionals that have a wealth of knowledge and experience. And if we don't take the opportunity to learn from them, we don't know where that knowledge is going to go when they're gone. I have a pretty good example of this. I have a particular customer in my territory. I know you know them well, Rosa, Dana at Jet Fitting. We had a conversation a few weeks ago, and being the nice guy that he is, he sat me down and explained the history of the rivet nut to me. This is something that, there's probably only a handful of guys in the country that actually know. And when Dana's gone and others like him have retired, we're going to be a lot less better off. So we need to document that. We need to have people on the show that could, talk about those kinds of issues, not just purely fastener related, but fastener industry related. Business tactics, marketing tactics. Some of the younger guys can actually help with, the technology and things that would help, the older people in our community.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So bottom line is, we chose this format because of the interaction. You can ask questions, you can applaud, you can comment, and you can be invited on the show very easily. Aaron and I consider this a casual, open conversation among friends. You're included in that. And I want all of us, both of Aaron and I want all of you to contribute, and don't be afraid. I know that some people might not want to talk live on air, especially in a live situation, because there's going to be mistakes and you're going to hem and haw. Don't worry about looking foolish. We got that covered. Trust me. Right. If you've seen the first show, you'll see that I said or probably 50 times.
And that you didn't know the name of our company.
Yeah, and I didn't know the name of our employer. So don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. We do have some rules, and we'll publish those later. You want to start off with one, Aaron?
What, one of the rules?
Yeah.
Well, we just don't want any profanity. I mean, within reason. Try not to talk about anybody in the business in a bad light. You don't have to name names or any of that kind of thing. So we just want to keep that to a minimum. We don't want to offend anybody, since being offended is a huge thing these days.
Absolutely. I want to interject. Hi, good morning, John. Thanks for joining us. There's a couple of the other rules. Just bottom line is be respectful. Don't say anything negative about anybody. If you have to speak negative, speak in generalities and don't, call anybody out on it. We don't want side conversations in the chat room about religion, politics, or anything else.
Come on.
I've seen a few shows and it just goes nuts. Let's keep it semi-professional at least.
So we need your guys. We need your help. We need you to be involved in this. We've got a few segment ideas that we'll be discussing a little bit later in the show, and we're trying to get those to revolve around you guys. So we really want this to be interactive. We want you guys to be a part of the show, almost like you guys are another co-host of the show yourself. So,
yeah, absolutely. And to do that, we have a couple of ideas already. First off, we were thinking of having an open mic at the end of the show where you get a few seconds to, you request to get put in the hot seat by clicking on the open seat icon in one of the third or fourth window. And then you have a few seconds there to, say what you want to say. Again, being respectful, because we have the ability to kick you out and then to permanently kick you out too. So don't, I know the people in the chat room now would never do something like that, but every once in a while we get random guys that might pop in and out and just to be, butt heads.
Yeah, those people are called trolls. They basically go on this program and just try to disrupt other people's programming. And we've had a few. Yeah,
so the rule of thumb is don't feed the trolls. Don't interact with them. If they say something in the comment, don't interact with them. Let the host know in the comments that they're there, and then we'll kick them out of the comments. The last thing you want to do is engage in a conversation when somebody is luring you into a fight. So let's see here, Aaron, what we got up next. Well,
there was another segment that we didn't talk about. You mentioned the open mic at the end of the show. There was another segment we were considering. It was an idea one of our friends had, kind of doing interviews, a personal interview with people, maybe having a cup of coffee with them live on air, or even maybe drinking a beer after hour or something like that. But, we want to do this with the people in the industry and see what they're doing at their job and see what's going on.
Yeah, and the twist on that is we want it to be a personal interview about the person behind the job. Again, we're trying to come up with original content or an original spin on some of this stuff, and we're focusing on community and we're focusing on people sharing their experiences. And there's a lot of cool people that reps like us get to meet on a personal level that other people in the industry don't necessarily know. They know them, because of their job. They know them because of the products or the company that they work for, but they never had the opportunity like we do to get behind that and get to know them as a person. So we're going to be working on that. The other thing that we want to do is come up with original content. I've had a pipe dream of mine and sort of started it, FastenerProAlliance.com, and I've accumulated about 400 articles for different types of subject matter for our industry. And there's a lot of content in there that instead of writing about it, we're going to talk about it. This particular month, we're going to have a series on the topic of distributors versus the big guys, and we're going to talk about Lowe's. We're going to talk about Home Depot a little bit. We're going to talk about Amazon. Next week's segment is we're going to dive a little bit deeper into Amazon. And
hey, Robert, I got some breaking news I was just handed. It says here that traveling salesman and his friends save Fastener Hall of Famers from certain doom. I don't have any more details on that, but it says here if you want to find out, you can visit his blog, fastenerblog.net. And apparently they've got audio that you can listen to on fullythreadedradio.com.
Wow, interesting. I wonder if what that's about. Hopefully he's okay.
And maybe Marty called in Solution Man to help him save him.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Okay, well, let's start talking about Lowe's. This is an article on. This is regarding an article on digitalindustrialdistribution.com, or industrialdistribution.com is the magazine, January, February 2016. And they're talking about Lowe's getting into the B2B supply space and having outside salespeople visit their customers. We wanted to get people's opinions on that. I know this is something that other entities have tried to with varying levels of success in the past. What do you think, Aaron?
Well, I was reading it. You said they were trying to send people out on sales calls. I was reading that article, and it said they were actually sending out, account executives to go visit these companies, not just salespeople that they hired. So they're sending the big guys out there. They're really trying to make a push for it.
Yeah, different companies called their outside sales reps different things. I don't think it's. I don't think they're that much different than us.
So you can start referring to me as executive.
Yeah, account executive. Lowe's. I worry a little bit about that, and I've talked to people, regarding any effect on our industry. And for the most part, I get feedback where, yeah, these guys have tried. It's like Fastenal or MSC. Good luck. We couldn't run circles around them. We have better pricing. We have better service. And for the most part, I agree. However, the article says that 30% of their revenue is now coming from these contracting market. And that's nothing to sneeze at. That's some big bucks. And the question is, who are they taking it away from?
Well, in the article, it also mentioned that, they weren't really going after Home Depot. They don't really consider that their biggest competitor in this field. In fact, even in the article, they mentioned that they're going to go after the local fastener distributors. So your mom and pop shops, probably companies that we all work with and know. So that's kind of scary that they're taking aim at the industrial distributors, not just Home Depot.
Yeah. So the question I have is, I wonder who's supplying them, and if they're doing this direct, are they cutting, the big boys out of the loop, the ITPs, the Prime Sources, the Bright and Bests? They're probably taking business away from at least a handful of those guys. maybe they mentioned that Home Depot is not an issue, but I remember a few years ago, Home Depot got a new CEO, and his I guess manifesto was to buy up as many B2B suppliers, and they ended up buying Crown Bolt. They ended up buying a fire suppression supply company. They
Didn't
ended
buy
up
like
buying
Inline or something like that, or what?
I don't remember the names of them, but I know they're still around. They're called HD Supply, and HD Supply is supplying infrastructure project contractors. Whitecap was part of that purchase. Since then, that gentleman, if I'm not mistaken, got released, and the HD Supply and those other companies have been sold off or separated into their own entities again. And so maybe the Lowe's guy is right. They're not directly competing with Home Depot, but they might be competing with the people like Whitecap that used to be part of Home Depot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they branched those back off into their own entities.
Yeah, I visited Crown Bolt not too long ago, and the way that it was explained to me was I don't know if they were sold off or if they just created their own entity, but they had a contract with Home Depot for a certain amount of time to supply them. Then they were on their own. They were free to pursue Home Depot competitors as customers. So that actually turned out pretty good.
Put those in their own entity again because when the numbers come out at the end of the year, they weren't reflecting that well.
I don't know what you mean. They were
sales
separated.
Figures, when they release how much money they made at the end of the year, you think that those, I guess, going after that B2B market segment has brought their business down?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, when you run a business, it isn't just about increasing sales. It's return on your investment. It's the risk that you take. It's, how much inventory you want to hold. It's, are you tying up money or that could be better spent elsewhere to produce more revenue? That B2B business is sort of tough because the wholesale, the retail market is mostly a cash market, but the B2B business, man, you could get into quite a bit of trouble, especially with these large contract manufacturers where, you supply goods and it might take 60, 90, 120 days to get paid. And those things are not always considered up front when making these decisions.
True.
Yeah. One of the other companies that I've been real interested in is Amazon. And they went from Amazon Small Parts to Amazon Supply, and now they have a new name called Amazon Business. And it's a strictly B2B store. And that one's got me pretty worried. We're going to have, I've done quite a bit of research on that, and we're going to have an episode next week that's going to dive a little bit deeper into that. But these guys are uniquely equipped to do things that the regular fastener distributor isn't at this point. And they're still lacking in a lot of things. And I think that we have regular fastener distributors, especially those specializing in niche markets. And I don't mean just product niches. I mean service niches. The guys that are doing VMI and whatnot are uniquely capable of competing. But Amazon's got a pretty good advantage. I don't know if you're a member of Amazon Prime.
Fastener delivery by drone.
Hey, that something we're laughing about now, but you never know. They have a Prime service that's free 2-day freight anywhere in the country. And
I use it all the time. I buy food off of there. I buy paper towels off there, paper plates, and they all show up at my door on a regular schedule.
Yeah. And I don't think Fasteners is too far behind that. They've really invested a lot of time and money perfecting their logistics infrastructure. They purchased a company that manufactures robots, automated warehouse robots, and they're popping up distribution centers all over the country, large 300,000 plus square foot facilities. So they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, but we'll talk about that.
I got a comment for you, Robert.
Sure.
You know, a lot of these fastener distributors pride themselves on VMI. Imagine if Amazon could VMI your company through their mail.
VMI your company through their mail. You're going to have to explain.
Okay, so
me.
like vendor managed inventory. So these distributors will come into your place, they'll deliver, they'll make sure that you never run out of stock. Can you imagine if Amazon sets up a program so that when you're running low, it just shows up in the mail?
Yeah, I don't doubt that that's possible. As a matter of fact, there's 3 fastener distributors that have proprietary or semi-proprietary technology where they do a bin stocking program, and there's counting scales at the bottom of each bin.
Yeah.
So at the moment that somebody pulls something out of that bin stock, it's I wouldn't say it's invoiced, but it's calculated, and at the end of the day, the culmination of all those parts are invoiced and sent to the customer. And then at that point, Amazon, if they wanted to, they could buy a company like that, send to fulfill the requirements for the fasteners.
John Butler says it's called Smart Bin, and he also commented that Amazon is now hiring drivers for same-day deliveries from smaller stocking locations.
Yeah, I've noticed a bunch of Amazon-branded delivery vans, and I've noticed I saw an article the other day where they made a big contract deal with one of the larger container manufacturers, and they were buying their own big rig trailers. So,
you know, I get my Amazon packages delivered on Sunday through USPS mail. You know, and it's only delivering Amazon stuff, I think.
Yeah, I think they made a special deal with USPS. They also use companies like I think it's called Fast Track, and there's a couple of local guys that I've ordered stuff on Amazon on a Sunday night, and I've gotten it Monday morning. So these guys are they're no slouch.
Yeah, and they're mailing it from Las Vegas. I ordered a DVD at 10 o'clock p.m. It shipped from Vegas, and at 9:30 the next morning, it showed up on my doorstep. It's unbelievable.
Wow. Well, John is commenting here. I use that in the past. Each night at midnight, we schedule the system to calculate the weight, therefore letting us know how many pieces were used. Yeah.
So the technology is already there. Other people are doing this. It's, you know, just
absolutely
with Amazon's power and their Prime and their online shopping. I mean, Rosa knows about online purchasing. That's the new trend. You know, people can order after hours. The small mom and pop shop can do all their purchasing after hours on their laptop, you know, and not spend the manpower during the day to order stuff.
Yeah. So I guess the big question is, how's the little guy going to compete with that? And I think we got some ideas. I mentioned to Aaron, I'm a big WordPress enthusiast. WordPress.com is owned by a company called Automatic.
Robert, what is WordPress if somebody doesn't know?
I'm just about to explain that. WordPress is an open source CMS, content management system. What it is, it's a framework for creating websites. A dynamic website is a database, server software, and application software combined. It's called the stack. WordPress sits on top of that and makes it easy for someone like me or you to create a website. Well, Automatic recently, so the way that WordPress works is that it's open source. It has a GPL license. So that means that I could copy WordPress and put my own name on it and sell it as Robert Press. And that's completely fine. And I can make changes to it. And because of that, there's a lot of companies that contribute to the WordPress project. One of those companies, that's the one that started or forked WordPress, is called Automatic, and they own WordPress.com. WordPress.com is a paid-for-use service. They set up WordPress for you, and they do other things. They recently purchased a company called WooCommerce or WooThemes, and WooThemes has a product called WooCommerce, and WooCommerce is a framework for creating e-commerce websites based on WordPress. So
so now your everyday mom and pop shop can get a shopping bin on their own website.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, it's a little bit more difficult than mom and pop kind of stuff. But if you have a dedicated mom or pop that has time to learn it, by all means, hey, if I could learn it, anybody can. And it's flexible, and it's robust, and it's getting more and more so. My brother is a software engineer, and he deals with a framework that's not, I wouldn't say it's similar, but it does e-commerce stuff. And their minimum installed package price is over $100,000. So this most definitely brings the barrier to entry a lot lower. So yeah, a mom and pop business can afford this, can do it on a regular basis. The most difficult part is if you want to integrate it real time to your ERP system. That's going to take some technical chops. But the next version, this last version upgrade of WordPress included the beginnings of something called the RESTful API. And that's a technology to facilitate just that. It's a language so that dissimilar websites or dissimilar programs can talk to one another. So it is moving forward. And I suggest
that's just way over my head.
Well, yeah, try not to get too technical, but bottom line is there's a light at the end of the tunnel if you guys are willing to go down that path. And we'll talk about that a little bit in the future and maybe have some guests on that can explain that a little bit better and maybe show some of our distributors how to get up online. And maybe with Rosa's help, we can actually get them to figure out how to integrate that with Bright Invest's back end and maybe Cambridge's back end, and do things a little bit easier. So we also have, if everything goes correctly, after we talk about Amazon next week, the following week, we're going to have one called Are the Distributors' Days Numbered? And we'll go down that path and talk about the scary scenarios and hopefully talk about what distributors can do to protect themselves. So
that should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, guys, if you have any questions.
Yeah, do you guys want to jump in on the mic, John or anybody? Just click on the button and you can come on and say hello if you feel like it. Rosa, you can too. I don't know if you guys are still watching. It looks like you are, but.
Or if you have a video camera, that's all you need. Video camera and mic. And you could use one if you have a laptop.
You can also do this on your iPhone just for future reference. It's not as good quality because you're streaming over, Wi-Fi, I guess. I'm plugged in to a landline, so it's a little bit stronger.
Yeah, same here. All right, guys, we've reached the 33-minute mark. So we're going to shut this down.
Can you follow John before you shut it down? Since he logged in up there at the top, you can just click follow. Just hover your mouse over his little bubble up the top.
Follow. Awesome.
So
okay.
Well, next week, John, if you're watching, you got to jump on here. The whole point of this is to almost have an open mic roundtable discussion with our viewers and people in the industry. So I think it's going to be a fun show going forward.
Yeah, and you always have an open invitation, John. We've put it out to our good buddy Traveling Salesman, but anybody that's interested in popping in and giving their 2 cents, we're happy to have you. So for all that, have a great week, guys. Talk to you soon, Aaron, and hopefully
next Friday, 10 o'clock.
You got it, guys. Thanks again. Bye-bye.